believe that it's been exactly 8 years since my favorite show, Ready to Go, premiered? And the funny thing is that I didn't watch it when it premiered. It took me 1 month for me to watch the show for the first time, and for me to instantly become a huge fan. I often see people wondering, "Dude, do you like Ready to Go so much? That show's for babies." Well, they praise shows like Bluey, Sesame Street, and My Little Pony in the same breath. Bro, that's your cousin. The call is coming from inside the house. Luckily, I prepared a list of my top 10 favorite episodes of Ready to Go, so then maybe some of you will understand why I like this show so much. Without further ado, let's get started. Number 10 is Sean's Neptune tune. In this episode, Jet and Sydney want to go to Neptune, but Sean doesn't. However, Jet comes up with a song that soothes Sean's fears. I love this episode because it's so heartfelt. Sean is usually the butt of jokes in the show, but this time, Sydney shows genuine concern for him and wants to figure out what's going on. Jet behaves insensitively at first, but when he found out that Sean felt bad about himself, he cheered him up. This is one of the episodes that best showcases the friendship amongst Jet and his friends. I feel like people don't give this episode enough credit for lightly touching on mental health issues, anxiety, and how to help those around you. And obviously, the song in the episode is great.
Sunspot? It's a Neptune kind of day. A Neptune kind of day. There's a crazy wind a-blowing, and the way that things are going, it feels like it could carry us away. The wind is whistling like a whip. Let's take a solar system trip. When it's blowing this way, there's just one thing to say. It's a Neptune kind of day.
It sounds like it could be in an old movie. Plus, this scene is hilarious.
Don't want to go to Neptune.
Wow, look, a rare moment when you can see the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time. Hey!
Number 9 is Beep Has the Blues. An earlier episode that shows that the series excels at serious and emotional moments. I mean, the entire episode is about a robot feeling sad, and yet, the scene where we find out that Beep's sister, Boop, is sick is so solemn, so well done, so powerful, that the episode successfully makes you sympathize with a robot rover. Plus, the episode takes a dramatic and thrilling turn when Jet, Sean, and Sydney go to Mars to clean the dust off of Boop. And the reason why she was sick was because she had dust on her solar panels. This is not something to be taken lightly, as some real-life rovers, such as Opportunity, died from having dust on its solar panels. And this happened just 2 years after the episode aired. It's chilling to think about. Don't worry, everything works out in the end, and Beep is happy. Number 8 is Sunspot. Like Beep Has the Blues, this one has a somewhat serious tone to it. As Sunspot's strange behavior concerning the sunspots on the sun is treated as though it's an illness, yet it avoids being too dark and edgy by having plenty of silly humor to balance things out. One of my favorite scenes ever are the scenes where Sunspot finally speaks.
No, thank you. I am lovable, aren't I?
I also really love how it feels like an early season 1 episode. Think about it. It's just about Jet, Sean, Sydney, Minnie, Sunspot, Carrot, Celery, and Face. Jet yells out, "Sunspot, car trip."
Sunspot! Car trip to the sun in an actual giant sunspot!
It feels like such a throwback to the early days of the show, even though this one was made in season 2. Number 7 is Jet's Time Machine. A beautiful episode, both in writing and in visuals. It sends such an important message to kids that you can't change the past. You can only learn from it. That message isn't just important for kids, but for everyone. That's what's so great about this show, that it has such a multi-generational appeal. Plus, the color palette in this episode is beautiful. as are the visuals whenever the gang are time traveling. And the cherry on top is that the jokes are hilarious, as usual. This episode has some of my favorite gags in the series. This episode demonstrates how the show excels at balancing tone. Number 6 is Lone Star, a musical episode, yay! This particular episode focuses on the history of an early astronomer, Lone Star, and the kids act out the parts in the story. I love this episode because it establishes the lore behind Boxwood Terrace and how it became a town focused around science. This episode has an important message that you shouldn't be afraid of new ideas, like how the citizens of Boxwood Territory were afraid of Lone Star's crazy idea that one day humans could go to the moon. In like pretty much every Ready to Go song, the songs in this episode are bangers. The show's songs are usually in the style of 50s rock or musical theater, but in this episode, they dip into country territory, and it works. Plus, you get to find out that Dr. Birch's great-great-grandpappy was Lone Star. I wish they did more with this information in future episodes. Number 5 is Treasure Map. This episode is simple and doesn't involve space travel like other episodes do, but I love it because it shows what a good person Jet is. Jet's friends are away for the day, leaving Jet and Sunspot to their own devices. They find out that Mitchell is looking for buried treasure and, wanting to do something nice for him, make a map and buried treasure for him to find. I love how this episode shows a different side of Mitchell because it demonstrates that he isn't just a jerk who wants to expose Jet's alien identity. He also likes reading pirate books and wants to find buried treasure. Look at his reaction when he finds the treasure. He seems so happy. Maybe the real treasure was Jet's heart of gold. Number 4 is Potatoes on Mars. Another musical episode, yay! And the songs in this episode are all styled after 80s glam rock. And the title song, Potatoes on Mars, is a homage to David Bowie's Life on Mars. I'm gonna be honest, the basic plot of the episode, which is Jet and his friends planting potatoes on Mars to see if it supports life, is pretty bare bones and simplistic. It's an interesting topic to be sure, but this episode would be nowhere near as great as it is without the absolute banger songs. It's a great tribute to David Bowie. Number 3 is Holidays in Boxwood Terrace. The Christmas episode. Christmas episodes are all designed to give you warm and fuzzy feelings, and this one is no exception, though it does have its sad moments. This episode takes a break from teaching about science to teach a very important lesson about friendship, welcoming people into the group and communicating about your feelings. I especially love this episode because it's where we see Mitchell at his lowest, his loneliest. He acts like a jerk to Jet and the others most of the time and keeps rejecting them, but deep down, all he wants is to belong to the group. But he doesn't know how to do it. Basically, it's this clip from Meet the Robinsons.
Hey, Goop, what's up? Cool binder. Hey, Goop, wanna come over to my house today?
They all hated me.
Seriously, Mitchell's little subplot is so sad. I think this has to be one of the saddest Christmas cartoon episodes I've ever seen, tied with Hey Arnold and Toradora. Luckily, everything turns out okay in the end with a beautiful finale. Number 2 is My Fair Jet. To be fair, this episode and my number 1 pick are both so immaculate that I had a hard time picking which one is better, but ultimately I decided to put this episode on number 2. Like the previous episode, this episode takes a break from science, aside from a few weather facts, to provide character development and drama. The basic premise is a homage to My Fair Lady. Make Jet behave like a normal human kid. However, things get more somber when it's revealed that the DSA will lose its funding if its weather presentation doesn't go well. How often do we get to see the adult problems in kids shows, especially surrounding financial issues? Not very often. You're really on the edge of your seat when Sean gets carried away by a weather balloon, at the risk of falling, but Jet risks exposing his alien identity to save him. If that's not what true friendship looks like, I don't know what does. And if that was enough, we get a banger song from Jet at the end. And my number 1 favorite Ready to Go episode is Tiny Blue Dot. My number 1 pick is almost unanimously considered by fans to be one of the best, if not the best episode, and I couldn't agree more. In just 11 minutes, this episode tells a powerful story about what makes the Earth so special and why we should appreciate it, while also giving us 3 amazing songs, since it's a musical episode. To me, this entire episode sums up the show's main theme, loving the planet Earth. There's tons of stuff to explore in space, but there's no other planet exactly like Earth, and there probably will never be. So it's our job to love it and take care of it. The 3 songs vary in genre and contribute to the episode's main idea. Intergalactic Travel Writers is a musical theater style song about how, of all the planets that Karen and Solidarity have written about, Earth is the nicest one by far. Venus, Earth's boiling hot twin, is a flamenco song about how Venus is a bit like Earth, but it's so hot that it can't support life. And of course, the title song, Tiny Blue Dot, a beautiful and gentle ballad about how Earth may seem insignificant when you see it from afar, but it's our home and the only one we have, so we need to take care of it. Quite a lot of it is adapted from Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot speech, by the way. That's it for this video, and I hope you will understand why I love Reject Go so much, and hopefully consider watching it as well. Happy 8th anniversary to this show. Can't believe it's almost been a decade, that's crazy.